Have you checked the children? You're a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome to the horror show. I'm Susie Von Slaughter.
And I'm Marcia Parker, and welcome to Binge-Worthy.
Woo!
So this is a new segment we're putting together because Susie and I love to binge watch.
Yes.
Because that's pretty much all
That's
we
the
can
only
do.
way. Yeah, that's the only way you can do it is to binge watch something.
No going to the movies, none of that fun stuff. So what are we going to do? We're going to binge whatever we can get our scrubby little hands on.
Yes.
So, we thought this would be an excellent opportunity to talk about the new Netflix limited series, Night Stalker.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was really excited when I saw this come out because it was a docuseries about the Night Stalker, which I don't really know anything about Richard Ramirez at all at that moment. I mean, I've heard of the Night Stalker, but I never really knew.
Right,
the
I didn't know the
details.
whole details of everything. Yeah, so this was quite informative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting. And it's a very short series. It's only 4 episodes long, and they're 48 minutes a piece, maybe a minute or two less, depending on which episode you're watching. But it's entertaining because it's from the perspective, obviously, of the victims and the detectives that did the whole investigating of the crimes and the victims that were the survivors, and then even there were some witnesses. And since this was relatively not that long ago, it was like the 80s.
Was it 80s or 90s?
It was 80s.
The 80s.
Late
oh,
80s.
That's right, yeah.
Late 80s, yeah. So, I mean, 40 years ago. But it's still new. So there's still a lot of these folks around. So it's really interesting to get everybody's point of view. Obviously not Richard Ramirez so much because he's already deceased. However, there were clips from some previous interviews. So to give you a little bit overview, and that's pretty much the series as you're going through. You start with the couple detectives, the background of the detectives.
One Detective Gil.
Gil and Salerno.
Yeah,
Frank
something like that.
Sinatra. And because we're really good at remembering names. But yeah, so you learn about them. Like the Salerno was famous for the Hillside Strangler.
Right.
Which was interesting. I didn't really that this guy was able to be part of 2 major serial killers, right?
Well, he is known, this Salerno guy, he's known for being so tough and getting to the bottom of whatever is happening. So I think that their group, that they're part of the Bulldogs, because they would have a crime that was cold for 20 years and he would figure it out. That's how good he was.
A complete rock star.
Yeah.
As they say for detectives, it's fascinating, especially if you follow.
Yeah, so basically it gives you a step by step of what happened, kind of what the city was like during that time, and gives you a really good backstory, I guess, from the police perspective. And a little bit of the victim perspective as well, but it is heavy on the police perspective. Yeah, for sure.
And you get to follow it from the very beginning through the end, and the end was very surprising. I mean, I don't want to blow it for everybody that's watching it, so we're not going to give too many spoilers, but if you're familiar of Richie Ramirez's story, it could be more informative for you or not. I don't know, coming as a new person going in and just being aware of the Night Stalker and not really understanding the depth of the crimes that he was committing, and and how long it went on before he was captured, and all of the in between details. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, no, I thought it was well done too. Before about the with the children and how he would just let them go. I didn't know that. I mean, there's really nothing to spoil, really. It's already happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Just on the documentary, I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, with the kids, I didn't, he would assault them and then just let them go, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I think that's the one thing I was disappointed in, was that they didn't really give a full backstory with him, because, they said that, he was, all he had was crimes before, but they weren't big things. So that was one thing. I love knowing how the human mind works, and you know, serial killers fascinate me in the sense of, like, how do you get to that point where you just, like, cut off and you don't have any remorse from that? So that was one thing I was disappointed with, because they kind of went into his childhood where he was abused, horribly abused, but then that was just kind of it.
Yeah.
You know, not saying I'm not glorifying serial killers in any way. Let me just put that out there at first. But I think that I would have liked to see kind of that background of, like, where he came from and a little bit more about him, seeing it, like, how he works. Because that's how you find out that's how you learn, is you find out about someone's background, what, you know, what they were exposed to. So that was one thing I did think was lacking. I did appreciate it from the cop's perspective, but again, it seemed like kind of a dick stroking contest. You know what I mean? Like, the cops are like, oh yeah,
good job,
you know, when that guy when I hit him in the face, it just give me a boner. You know, it's like, okay, guy. You know, so that's the only thing. Like, I did kind of, you know, but it was fascinating to. It really does give you the details of the crimes that he committed. So
they didn't shy away from a lot of those shots. They actually showed true photographs from
the obviously the more intense visuals of things that he did were blurred out, so you don't gotta worry about that. But yeah, it's crazy just to see, like, those people even today, that fear when they interviewed them, that fear, you can still see it. Like, and it's crazy. It's, you know, what would that be like? You know, you have a serial killer in your own freaking neighborhood.
Yeah. Even, like, one of the investigators, he hit a home, like, right around the corner from where he lives.
Yeah.
And one of the other cops, now she wasn't on the case, but she was familiar with the case and was friends with the lead detectives. Her neighbor was raped and brutally, like, you know, brutalized, but she survived, but still, like right next door.
There was even a police officer that he almost broke in.
Yeah. He did. He broke in, but he got scared because he got someone, like, called out. They called out, so they weren't sleeping, so he got scared and ran away. Remember, the wife woke up from the couch. So he, like,
yes.
But it was a cop.
Yeah, it was a cop. It was a cop's
He didn't
house.
care. He didn't know. He just, like, looked for an opportunity and went in. And I think that's what was so crazy about this, was, like, I had no idea that anybody could have been a victim. That is what's really troubling, because, like, if you think you could be, it doesn't matter if you're a kid, it didn't matter if you're old or young, male, female, he didn't care. It was an opportunistic thing.
Right.
So where, like, he would find, like, okay, I'm just going to do this house now, and...
That's the one thing, again, which I wish they really would have touched on, because, growing up in those kind of... I don't think he was born mentally ill. I think that his environment made him that way. I think that because
he was living on the streets, so he obviously, and he was robbing, to get money.
It's a lifestyle that I think he grew into.
Yeah.
There's one part he even said, they said that he watched his aunt
get murdered by her.
She shot her boyfriend.
Yeah, like, no, was it that? Or it was like his aunt was murdered by her husband in front of him, or something like that.
In front of him.
Yeah.
Though, like, it's casual. Like, that kind of thing happens all the time. And I'm not trying to get sympathy for this person at all. I'm not trying to say that. But I think we need to learn more about people's, you know, mental state and how they grew up, you know, to kind of deter something like this from happening,
or look
you
for
know,
the sign,
possibly.
Something, you know, or like, what are your friends doing? Like, he had friends, like, that's, you know, how they ended up catching him was through, like, the friend grapevine, and it's like,
well, the one he didn't want to say anything. No, the way he got caught,
funny.
I thought was amazing, because
it's
totally like a movie. When he gets caught, is, you know, the friend knew who he wasn't going to give him up until the one police officer was, like, ready to beat his ass or something.
Yeah, he's
and then
like,
he finally
I will like pretty much rip your face apart.
Yeah, and then when he found out, because he was in Arizona.
Yeah,
he was in Arizona for a few days visiting his brother.
Yeah.
He was visiting his brother, and then he came back. By the time he came back, all his picture was everywhere.
He was killing everyone. Like, he was killing nonstop. Like, he killed, like, he had, like, what, five crimes within 10 days, or 10 crimes within, like, he would do two in a night. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so that's what I'm
insane.
saying. Like, it makes you think, like, the logic, I guess.
He
You know,
didn't
it's
care.
something, it needs to be studied, not,
Yeah.
you know, for
And-
the benefit of people. It's not.
And I would be interested in knowing, like, what, because, you know, I watch a lot of true crime. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and I've read the books and all this stuff, and they do go into backgrounds a lot of the time. So it's interesting that Netflix chose not to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that, you know, everybody's saying that in the media, like, hyper, like, you know, broadcast, like, about the serial killers and making them more famous and by like giving them their side, telling their story, and they should do, you know, focus more on the victims versus the serial killer itself or the killer itself. And maybe that's why they took that approach, but at the same time, we're humans, and humans just want to know the nitty-gritty. So,
Mindhunter.
yeah.
Prime example.
Yep.
You know, that's where they got
Another great binge-watching.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
another great bingey one, but yeah. But anyway, so even though it was only 4
Yeah.
episodes, you get a lot going in. You get a lot of information. It doesn't go slow. It's just right into it, which I get, you know, that's a good thing too, because it is just his crimes from that time that he was killing people. So, yeah, I just remember that one survivor of the girl that he had molested and just left, and she's a survivor, and she actually talked about it.
Yeah.
And the one thing she said, I just remember him looking at me in his eyes saying, "I'm sorry that I have to do this to you, but I'm not going to stop."
Right.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you can see the remorse, but people, they're just like, they don't know why they do it. But that's what I'm saying.
can't
Like,
stop
they can't
themselves.
stop. They
Like,
can't stop.
yeah.
Yeah, they can't stop themselves. But
Yeah. It was intense. It was
Yeah.
a lot, and there's a lot to go from, and so I, you know,
so
just-
trigger warning with that. I guess, we should
yeah,
let you know.
trigger. That is trigger warning if
Yeah.
you've ever like had to go through a situation like that.
Yeah.
So be aware of that. And I don't know if it's something you would watch with your kids. I mean, I watch it with like my little one because he's only 7 months old, so he's not really paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
Anyway, but I didn't really watch around my eldest because he's paying attention to things now. And
yeah.
it's not something I really want to expose him to as of yet. So I did keep that a nighttime watch, just me and if I'm with my little one. But other than that, I would
not
do that. But I do think it is binge-worthy. It's a limited series. Take the opportunity to watch it.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
You know, everybody else is in the house. But, you know, there is a lot of material out there, and there's a lot of stuff that is boring and a waste of time. So if you're into serial killers and learning more about this, I would recommend this for your
sure.
watch as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anything else you want to say about it? Like it's a docu-series, so there's no special effects. It was well shot, well edited. The story was cohesive and made sense.
Yeah, they showed footage from like when he was in trial, and the news stories that were going on too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so like they were able to pull a lot of that old footage of and they used it appropriately throughout the time, like when it first started and when things were being revealed and when things shouldn't have been revealed and they were revealed. Like it was
oh my god.
That dumb bitch.
And she's still in office.
Of course she is.
Oh, she's
dumb. You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You
So yeah, I think that covers The Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Again, it's on Netflix, limited series, so check it out. And let us know if you like this. Like, we're really excited about doing these new segments and sharing the stuff that we're watching that's not necessarily like a Patreon or the new movies that are coming out.
We want you guys to discuss. We want to find out from you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you
things,
watching?
You know, I know there were things that when I was watching, I can't remember for the life of me now. I should have written them down. But like questions, you know, like, well, why did this happen and blah blah blah. But yeah, so if you have any questions or you just want to comment and discuss amongst yourselves in the comment section, please do.
Yeah. There were, like, even just in our own feed when we were talking about the Night
Oh,
Stalker.
yeah.
Like,
We were just talking.
Lewis came on and he's all like, oh, fuck him, and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
he's a pussy. It's
coward,
like,
and
yeah, but it's like, okay, but you can't. It's things you gotta.
And there's still stuff I don't know. Like, I was talking to one of my other friends, and she was like, yeah, they don't talk about how he had a brain injury, and he was living off of a diet of Coca-Cola and candy bars, and
that's what I'm talking about.
So he's malnourished. He was obviously living off the street, so he wasn't he had poor hygiene.
And again,
obviously.
this is not an excuse for anything that he did.
It's a contributing factor.
It's
you're not gonna be in your right mind if you're just living off of sugar.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Drugs.
Yeah.
And you're watching people like steal and kill each other on the streets all the time. Like,
yeah.
I didn't dig into the satanic stuff. But it does seem like he pulled it in. I honestly think
it was the only thing that made him
cope with it.
Like, people feel lost, and it's like when people find religion, he just found Satan.
Yeah, and then he kind of pulled it in a little bit later, and then there was a small talk about how he went to the library to learn about
right. He had asked about a book on torture and I think Satanism.
Yeah. So almost like he kind of and he wasn't completely stupid. He knew about the Hillside Strangler.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So it's like he was trying to pull stuff in just because, well, I'm famous now. Why not be more famous and say I'm Satanist?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's smarter, but I think that he definitely. Well, I didn't even know that living on a brain injury and living on fucking soda and candy. Yeah. Anyone's gonna go fucking crazy over that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's always more to the story. But
so this is what we're talking about, please, in the comments section, so that we can discuss more.
Yeah,
because no one else wants to hear about it.
Yeah. So this is what you have to look forward to. And if you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you hit like, subscribe, talk to us, tell us, yay! Finally, Marcia Susie got her own things going now. And then stay tuned for the next one, because we're constantly watching stuff and telling each other what to watch, and then we're gonna do. I don't know what the next binge-worthy one is, but we will get there.
Yes.
So, thanks again for watching the horror show. I've been Marcia Parker,
and I'm Susie Von Slaughter,
and stay scared.